Only one night matters. One night to achieve their dreams, to emerge as a superstar. That night is America's Fight Night. On August 2nd, fighting styles clash in a junior bantamweight championship bout. Vic Darchinyan, the dangerous southpaw with explosive punching power, is gunning for his second world title. But IBF champ Dmitry Kirillov is a tough boxer who's never been knocked out. Who will be champion, the boxer or the puncher? Dmitry Kirillov versus Vic Darchinyan. Saturday, August 2nd at 9, only on Showtime.
Presentation of Showtime Sports.
It was one of the most bitter, bloody, and controversial bouts in recent memory. Broken bone.
He's got a broken jaw.
Intentional fouls.
2 points.
And a confusing controversy.
So what do you want to do?
Amid accusations of hometown bias, unclear officiating, and questionable tactics.
Now, you ready to fight?
Germany's King Arthur Abraham delighted his countrymen with a win that retained his title and preserved his unbeaten streak, while Edison Miranda suffered his very first setback. Tonight, the feud continues, and it promises to be equally combative, compelling, and contentious.
Are flying, firing bombs. Big action here. What a heavy right hand. It's all over. We've got a new champion.
On this first official day of summer 2008, expectations for a hot night of boxing here at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. Yes, the culmination of a busy and exhilarating stretch in this our second installment of Showtime Championship Boxing in as many weeks. Well, the first fight was a grueling and dramatic slugfest. Tonight, after nearly 2 years of waiting, the long overdue rematch between undefeated Arthur Abraham and Edison Miranda, which has drawn lots of attention. And for starters, you'll see unbeaten knockout specialist Giovanni Lorenzo take on former world champ Raul Marquez in an IBF middleweight title eliminator. It's fight night in Florida. Hello again, everybody. Steve Albert from Hollywood, Florida. We brace ourselves for the sequel of a highly controversial middleweight title fight that took place in Germany in 2006. The Ring magazine described it as one of the craziest, most desperate, and utterly compelling alphabet title fights of the year. In that bout, Arthur Abraham suffered a broken jaw. The ringside doctor suggested the fight be stopped, but Abraham was allowed to continue. Edison Miranda was subsequently penalized a total of 5 points for intentionally butting and hitting low. Miranda also threw twice as many punches, but Abraham emerged with the unanimous decision victory, triggering outrage from Miranda's camp. To say there's bad blood going into tonight's rematch is an understatement. And with that, let me bring on my ringside partner, Al Bernstein. And Al, if ever a fight screamed out for a rematch, it was Abraham versus Miranda.
It really does. You know, it took a little while for it to happen, but it's happened basically for two reasons. First, because the fight is here in the United States. Abraham likes that because he wants to win over these U.S. fans, and he feels by coming and fighting a tough fighter like Miranda here, it will do that. Miranda likes it because, of course, he felt mistreated and really ripped off when he went to fight him in Germany. The second reason is that this fight is over the 160-pound limit. For For Abraham, that's good because he doesn't have to put his middleweight title on the line. And Miranda likes it because it's a weight he feels more comfortable fighting at, more powerful fighting at, and has been at that weight for about a year. So those are the reasons, but we're just happy it's happening.
No question about that. So later tonight, it'll be Abraham Miranda II at a catch weight of 166 pounds. No title at stake. This time they fight for pride and glory. And in Miranda's case, you can add retribution. To whet your appetite, our opening bout features a strong and charismatic middleweight contender named Giovanni Lorenzo, who steps onto his biggest stage to meet former junior middleweight champ Raul Marquez. And now this is a classic case of youth versus experience.
It really is. You know, the 27-year-old Lorenzo has moved all the way up to the top of the middleweight division, but he is virtually untested. Now, he's a confident young man with a lot of power, but he's giving away a lot of experience tonight. 36-year-old Raul Marquez has been at this so long that he actually fought on the wide world of sports. Not too many active fighters right now can make that statement. But he's resuscitated his career one more time with a 6-fight unbeaten streak, and he feels like he can still get a title shot, which he would if he won tonight.
All right, before we get to our co-feature, here's tonight's poll question as we invite you to text your responses to us at SHOTV. That's 74688. If Edison Miranda wins tonight, should Abraham and Miranda fight again? For yes, text the number 1. For no, text the number 2. And text your response to us here at 74688. Standard text messaging rates apply. Coming up first from Hard Rock Live here in Hollywood, Florida, undefeated Giovanni Lorenzo ready to go against former champion Raul Marquez. A lot on the line as a victory tonight vaults the winner one step closer to world title contention. Popular longtime pro Raul Marquez, the Mexican-born Houstonian, seasoned, highly experienced left-hander. He's fought the best. 92 U.S. Olympian, won the IBF junior middleweight belt back in '97, but hasn't fought for a title since '99 when he was stopped by Fernando Vargas. Had 2 long layoffs. More recently, stepped away almost 2 years, returning in 2006. You have to wonder, nearing 37, what this old warrior has left. And now this is a very aware, very perceptive guy, a student of the game who realizes he's at the crossroads.
He has said that all through this 6-fight streak, which has been unbeaten, every one is a do-or-die fight for him. He trains for it like it's a championship fight. If he loses any of them, he would retire. He feels like he can win one and still get that title shot.
This is a fighter who went 9 rounds with Jermaine Taylor. His last loss in 2004. A very proud man. Still has the desire, the passion. Many feel his experience and savvy will negate Lorenzo's power and speed. A big puncher who needs a breakout performance. He's soaking it all in. Highly ranked middleweight contender Giovanni Lorenzo, who is Arthur Abraham's mandatory. He represented the Dominican Republic at the 2000 Olympics. He had over 260 amateur bouts. He's from a fighting family. His 2 brothers are boxers as well. Young, hungry guy, obsessed with training. He leads a completely isolated life, consumed by boxing, and he feels he simply cannot lose. But now he's been heavily criticized for building his undefeated record on limited opposition. The feeling he's being overprotected.
You know, it's true. He has not had a lot of experience, has never fought past 8 rounds, has never fought a lefty, which he'll fight tonight in Raul Marquez. And I'll tell you something else. The Marquez camp thought the moment might get to him, that fighting on his biggest stage. If this is any indication, he's a very loose fighter right now. Whether that will carry over into the ring, we'll see.
Well, he said he wants to be the first fighter to lay Marquez out, and he wants to do it in spectacular fashion. So he makes his way onto the canvas. The young stud versus the older ex-champ. An intriguing matchup. And let's size them up. The biggest disparity is age. Lorenzo 9 years younger than Marquez. The height is all even. The edge in reach to Lorenzo by 2.5 inches. And at yesterday's weigh-in, both came in right on the mark at 160. And the notable unified rules: there is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. The fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt causes a fight to end within 4 rounds, it's a no decision. After 4 rounds, they go to the scorecards. If a punch causes a cut and the injured fighter can't continue, he loses by TKO. So here at Hard Rock Live, we're getting ready for Giovanni Lorenzo versus Raul Marquez in an IBF middleweight title eliminator, set for the formal introductions from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino here in Hollywood, Florida, as we have a big night of action coming your way, and it's all brought to you by Seminole Warriors Boxing and Sauerland Event in association with the Seminole Tribe of Florida, made possible by Cafe Bustelo and Showtime. This title elimination bout is also brought to you in conjunction with Main Events and is sanctioned by the IBF President Marion Muhammad, Supervisor David McCullough, along with the Florida State Boxing Commission. Introducing to you our 3 judges scoring this bout from ringside. From Delray Beach, Florida, Michael Pernick. From Bradenton, Florida, Michael Ross. And from Ocala, Florida, Peter Trematera. Introducing to you our referee in charge of this bout from Miami, Florida, Jorge Alonso. All right, fans, here we go with an IBF middleweight title elimination bout. It is scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing gray trunks with black trim, fighting out of Houston, Texas. He weighed in at the middleweight limit of 160 pounds even, with a record of 40 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw. He has 1 no decision and 29 wins coming by way of knockout. He is currently ranked the number 12 contender. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former IBF Junior Middleweight Champion of the World, introducing Raul El Diamante Marquez. And his opponent across the ring on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red, white, and blue trunks, hailing from San Cristobal, La República Dominicana. He weighed in the same weight as his opponent, 160 pounds even. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with a record of 26 wins, no losses, 18 wins coming by way of knockout. He is ranked the number 4 IBF middleweight contender. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the undefeated Giovanni El Chico Malo Lorenzo. Once again, our referee in charge, Jorge Alonso, now to give instructions.
¿Inglés o español, Raúl?
Lo que sea.
Va, pues, ¿hablas inglés?
Sí, sí.
Ok.
Francés.
No, hasta ahí me quedé yo. Giovanni. ¿Tú hablas inglés, verdad? No. Ok. Vamos a hacerlo en español porque él no habla inglés, ¿eh? Ok. Yo le di las instrucciones a los dos en el camerino, ¿ok? Déjenme recordarle. Yo quiero una pelea limpia. Me obedecen en todo momento y se cuidan siempre. No me golpeen después de la campana, no me golpeen detrás. Esto está bien aquí, esto está bien aquí. Toquen guantes.
Third man, Jorge Alonso, with the final instructions. The tall, rangy Lorenzo comes in with 6 straight knockouts. The last one was in the first round. Overall, 6 first-round KOs. He's not the type really to bull rush. He's a little more systematic at the start. We'll see what happens here. Both very good body punchers.
Vámonos.
But Lorenzo goes for the big payoff, the home run. Marquez, the kind of guy who looks to wear you down. He said he has to rough Lorenzo up, take him out of his plan, sort of discombobulate him. Marquez, the southpaw, has got to get inside on Lorenzo, go to the body, try to take him deep. As Al mentioned, Lorenzo never passed 8. Marquez said the only thing he's not really sure of with Lorenzo is Giovanni's speed.
It's hard to tell on tape, and you know, Lorenzo, you see him kind of just backing up, looking for shots. This is what Marquez wants to do. keep a very fast pace. Now, the big punch to worry about if you're Marquez is the uppercut of Lorenzo. He even knocked down Ulises Duarte, his last opponent, with an uppercut. One of the times he knocked him down. So for Marquez, that uppercut's a dangerous punch early in this fight.
He's also capable of KOing people with the body shot, as is Marquez. He's done that in the past.
Marquez is a very good body puncher.
Marquez told us he sparred with bigger guys, younger guys. He feels well prepared for Lorenzo. And as Al said, Marquez is Lorenzo's first southpaw opponent as a professional. He fought lots of lefties in the amateurs.
Cuidado con ese codo,
but he feels Marquez is mostly squared up anyway. There's a good body shot. Left hand by Marquez.
You know the interesting thing in this, early in this fight, Marquez isn't fighting as squared up as he normally does. He's really giving him a classic lefty look.
Maybe he heard about what Lorenzo thought.
There's that uppercut from Lorenzo. Man, he wants to land that punch.
18 of Lorenzo's 26 wins by knockout. 15 of those 18 KOs within 3 rounds. All 3 of Marquez's losses by TKO, but he's never been on the canvas. And Marquez, very durable historically. He can really take a punch. And he continues to dictate here and push Lorenzo back, which is the thing to do against Giovanni.
The only thing he's not doing now is he's staying at a range where Lorenzo can punch him. He's not getting inside enough. Some of those big punches by Lorenzo are glancing off him, and they're in a position where they can land. He needs to fight off Lorenzo's chest, does Marquez. He was doing that earlier, but not now.
Good right hand, quick bullet right hand by Lorenzo.
That's what Marquez can't afford to be countered like that. And Lorenzo quick with the right hand.
And that's the speed that Marquez was unable to gauge by watching tapes. Now here's Marquez with an offensive burst.
No. Break, Raúl. Tú también.
As we head to the bell in round number 1.
Tiempo.
Let's take a look at Al's keys to victory.
For Giovanni, he needs to let his punches flow and not look for a KO with each one. He has a good uppercut, which we've been talking about, and Marquez can certainly be hit with that punch. The hook downstairs is a good one for Lorenzo, and against the 36-year-old, he should use it a lot in this match. For Raul Marquez, he needs to press Lorenzo. Always punch first, get off first. And he can't bend in or he'll be hit with that uppercut. If Marquez is to win this fight, it will be with combinations and quantity of punches.
Marquez certainly comfortable in these digs. 2 of his last 3 fights at Hard Rock Live. Early knockouts, but over nondescript competition. Round 2 scheduled for 12. This is a middleweight title elimination fight. Giovanni Lorenzo in the red, white, and blue. Raul Marquez in the silver with the black trim. Lorenzo, even though he's had questionable opposition, rated number 1 by the WBC, number 4 by the IBF. Abraham's people postponed the mandatory with Lorenzo to renew the rivalry with Edison Miranda, which you'll see later tonight in our main event.
I think Marquez was just stunned by a right hand, and I think he's felt the power of Lorenzo. You know, Raul Marquez really has been a 154-pounder most of his career, now up at 160, and Lorenzo's a big punching middleweight.
Big, strong guy. Barry McGuigan, who you worked with during a past Lorenzo fight, said he reminded him of Gerald McClellan. Very fierce fighter.
No holding.
In his day.
Suéltalo.
That was kind of an apt analogy. Both kind of ponderous, heavy punchers who didn't throw a ton of punches, but, you know, could whack you with anything.
I mentioned that to Lorenzo, and not to be disrespectful, but it didn't register with Giovanni. He's too young and too wrapped up in his own world, I guess. But it was a compliment. Here's Lorenzo on the attack. Lorenzo letting loose, pouring it on. a barrage of punches, and he's got him pinned up against the ropes, Marquez. But Marquez trying to fight his way out. Not where you want to be against Lorenzo.
Now, for Raul Marquez, remember, he's suffering some issues early in this fight. His mission is to get Lorenzo into the later rounds, period. But when you're taking this kind of punishment, it's difficult to do that. Lorenzo never having gone 8, and we don't know how he'll respond, but there's a lot of swelling around the left eye of Raul Marquez now.
Yeah. Lorenzo's punches are very damaging. There's a good right hand by Lorenzo. They are thundering punches.
No tire, déjalo salir. Déjalo salir. Rey, atrás. Ahí.
And he punches with hurtful intent.
Marquez hasn't been able to close the distance as well as he might. When he is on the inside,
Suéltalo, suéltalo,
Lorenzo's
suéltalo.
holding him and not allowing him to work on the inside.
Suéltalo.
So a very good round for Giovanni Lorenzo. Off the ropes, he fires a right down the middle, and it scores. Body punch there by Marquez, but Lorenzo fires back with a countering right hand. That connected. Lorenzo giving Marquez a lot of movement now and angles, and he's making life difficult for the veteran.
Tempo.
Let's get some air. Don't stay in the ropes. Don't stay in the ropes. You're telling him to throw. Don't cooperate with him. Move him to the left side, your left side.
Lorenzo was able to land some good shots on Marquez coming in. There's the chopping right hand. There's that little uppercut that we talked about. And then he was able to push Raul Marquez back, which you're not usually able to do in a fight. And when you do, it's trouble for Raul. That straight right hand continuing to bedevil him. Not everything landing here, but he's imposing his will on Marquez. And you see the uppercut trying to get in by Lorenzo.
Now, very interesting story, as you know, in the corner of Giovanni Lorenzo. The trainer is Pastor Ralph Ferrite, a pastor at the Cornerstone Assembly Church in the South Bronx in New York. And here's Marquez starting fast in the third round. He's been a pastor for 37 years. His wife also a pastor, and he's worked with some pretty big names too.
Yeah, Aaron Davis among them.
Saul Mambi.
Saul Mambi, also a former champion. And yeah, he said, don't worry about 8 rounds. This guy's trained for 15 rounds.
Right.
So we were ready to go a long way. So we'll see if that's the case.
Yeah, Lorenzo's never been past 8 rounds, but they don't seem too concerned with that.
And you know, Lorenzo's one of those fighters who picks his shots very carefully, so he doesn't overextend. And that's part of the reason maybe why they feel like the distance won't be a problem for him. We'll see.
Atrás, suéltalo,
Looks like Marquez is having some problems with that left eye. He's blinking heavily. He's starting to struggle here. Minute gone by in the third.
Yeah, this is a pretty big ring, over 20 feet, we believe. And Lorenzo's using it very effectively.
Lorenzo's bruising punches have slowed the ex-champion down. Oh, another whacking right hand on the upper chest by Lorenzo. A right uppercut on the inside by Giovanni Lorenzo.
Raul Marquez needs a little more head movement as he's coming in. And he also needs to be working a lot when he gets on the inside if he can. But Lorenzo's tying him up very effectively.
Lorenzo most effective when he's allowed to dictate the pace and back people up. He's also not bad when he goes backwards.
He's a good counterpuncher, he really is, you know, and has shown that so far in this fight.
Very fast hands, as I think Marquez will attest to. Lorenzo in control, missing with that wide right.
You know, when Lorenzo misses with the right, Marquez can't make him pay. He ducks the punch more often than not now in the last round or so, but he's not able to counter.
When you saw him, Lorenzo was lobbying to fight John Duddy, who I believe is in the house tonight.
Yes, indeed.
Big New York favorite from Ireland.
That would be an intriguing match, although now, of course, Lorenzo is by pass study, and he's a #1 contender, or he would get a mandatory shot for the IBF title.
Yeah, he wants Arthur Abraham.
Yep.
But since that night you saw him beat Robert Kamya, a Ugandan, he's beaten guys like Bruce Rumbles, Sherwin Davis, Ulysses Duarte, not household names. Prior to tonight, his biggest name opponent was Archak Termaliksatian, who was retired in the 7th against Lorenzo. But this by far his biggest name, Marquez.
No mucho la cabeza así más. Okay.
Tienes que hacerlo como tú me haces en el gimnasio con Oma.
Like we do in the gym. You gotta take that right out. You understand me?
Te voy a secar los guantes.
I'm gonna dry your gloves up. I'm drying your gloves, okay?
¿Está fuerte?
Are you strong? Is he strong? Don't go in front of him. Don't leave the head open. You're doing it good. You can't stay in front of him. And keep the hands up.
Our thanks to our translator, Felix de Jesus. Arturo Marquez, the father of Raul Marquez, the trainer. He's been kind of back and forth with his dad. He was with Ronnie Shields for a while, but he's very happy to be back with his father, who got him through the Olympics, made him a world champion. He said, hey, that's where I'm supposed to be, with my dad.
Last 3 fights with him, and he said, I'll finish my career. You know, the straight left now getting in for Marquez a little bit on the inside. He had a little better third round than Marquez. I still thought Lorenzo won that round.
Yeah, Lorenzo sometimes a little over anxious. He has to tame himself once and so often, and he's got some rough edges. But,
Giovanni.
You know, we may be looking at a future world champion here.
Right hook by, now this is where Marquez wants to be. He started out this round much better than previous ones. And now Lorenzo is, now that was a nice counter right, but he's backing himself into the corner so he can control those counters, but also taking shots.
Marquez teeing off, and then Lorenzo able to get out of there. Good right hand by Lorenzo, but Marquez is now coming forward.
Now we talk about distance, but can Raul Marquez at age 36 sustain that kind of pressure and that kind of activity over the course of a longer fight? We'll find that out too. But Raul Marquez having his best round of this fight, there's no question about that.
Marquez puts his hands by his side as if to say, come on, come towards me. Stop dancing around. Stop backing away.
That's a good veteran trick. Even something to try and lure Lorenzo out of what he wants to do.
But Lorenzo's not going to bite.
No, but I'll tell you, Marquez doing a better job of slipping those punches and countering now. He's found a certain timing with Lorenzo to make him miss that right hand, and then he's countering.
Lorenzo says, I'm sticking to my game plan. I don't care what you do. There's a right uppercut as he was holding and hitting Lorenzo.
Do you know who that gesture by Marquez was directed at? 3 people around ringside, and they weren't us and our stage manager, Joel. They were the judges, because he wants them to feel like, hey, this guy's running for me. He doesn't want to do anything, and I'm the old guy. You know, come on.
That's the gesture of a seasoned veteran.
Yeah.
There's a nice left hand to the top of Lorenzo's head, and that startled Lorenzo momentarily.
Right on the body.
Yes, by Marquez.
There's a difference in this fight right now. Lorenzo's still dangerous with that power, but he's getting a little bit discombobulated by this attack, which is exactly what Marquez wanted to do.
Yeah, I don't think Lorenzo's ever been in there with
don't do it again.
With anyone with this much experience. There's no question about that. And a body shot offered up by Lorenzo. And Marquez roughs Lorenzo up as they tie each other up.
Hear me, son. When you get there,
he's trying to counter me. Hey, yeah, pero no. He's getting tired. Yeah, pero no. Hey, No eches la cabeza para el lado de la derecha.
Don't put the head in.
No eches la cabeza ni para el lado de la derecha.
Don't lead with your head.
Hey, bloquea los punches, controla.
Block his punches.
Hey, ya se anda cansando, pero necesita
Well,
tirar
Raul Marquez had a very nice fourth round, and he did it by getting close enough so that he wasn't hit with all those shots, and then he bullied Lorenzo and ripped shots on the inside. Threw a lot of punches and was, for the most part, very effective with it.
Let's go, let's go.
There's some swelling and some blood underneath the right eye, around the cheek of Lorenzo. Oh, a right hand that staggered Marquez. He claims he slipped or it was a trip.
You know, Raul Marquez, who, by the way, was a very good commentator on NBC, did HBO, Telemundo, and will do more commentating. He is a smart guy in that ring. He ran forward, got kind of pushed off balance, and right away pleaded his case to the referee to let everyone know, oh, I'm not hurt. It was interesting. He took a jab, you know, right in the head, and it did push him back.
And again, he gestures to Lorenzo, come on, let's fight. And Lorenzo counters with a gesture of his own. And now they go at it.
Stop.
And some pounding shots to the back of the head by Marquez.
Let's go.
Jorge Alonso.
Cautioned by Jorge Alonso.
I'm sorry, Steve. It's just that that's the second warning, and it is interesting, you know, that Marquez very frustrated by
Lorenzo's
the inside.
Yeah. Here's the press row scoring. One has it even. George Kimball from Boxing Digest called fight tag. From FightNews.com, Armando Alvarez, the Miami Herald.
I've got a 3-point or a 2-point edge, for Lorenzo.
Holding and hitting by Lorenzo. We approach halfway into round 5. Things are starting to develop into an intriguing affair.
Yeah. You know, Lorenzo's still landing some really good counter punches in this round, and I don't know if Raul Marquez's aggression is as effective as it was in round 4, but he is landing good body shots.
These are hard body shots by Marquez. Has to be getting the attention of Lorenzo, who quickly runs out of harm's way.
Tough round to score because Lorenzo's landed some very nice counter punches, but Marquez has been the aggressor, so this round is up for grabs here in the last round.
And this is really Marquez's kind of fight right now because, yeah, he tries to wear you out, he tries to accumulate, and then tries to go for the knockout later in the fight.
A key for Marquez, I think, is to keep that body work up now if he can get in close.
And Marquez, as you can see, not afraid to stand in there and trade. You got to be a little careful against a guy with this kind of power in Lorenzo. And here's Marquez again, ripping to the body. A left hand up top by Marquez. Lorenzo's never been down. Said he was pushed down once in a fight early in his career. Marquez has never been on the canvas. He took a knee once. That was against Jermaine Taylor. Final seconds of the 5th.
Time.
Well, Al, it's a big night of mixed martial arts coming up next month.
It really is. On July 26th, following Elite XC on Showtime, mixed martial arts returns to primetime network television with CBS Elite XC Saturday night fights. And, you know, it's a great match. Robbie Lawler and Scott Smith had a no contest in their last fight. This is the second fight. A lot of unfinished business. It was very, very exciting. People will see the rematch for Lawler's middleweight title starting at 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on CBS. It's worth watching. That was a great first fight.
Put the Vaseline on, all over. You can't stop. You can't stop. Don't be desperate. But just keep going.
All right, seconds out. Let's go. Seconds out. Come on, let's go.
They are being extra cautious with Marquez in the corner with the Vaseline. He does have a history of cuts. Underway round 6, scheduled for 12, a middleweight title eliminator. Some vicious shots here by Marquez.
Oh, and a nice right hook by Marquez, too. He's forcing Lorenzo to come to the plate now with some offense.
And that's the way to fight Lorenzo. Marquez again knocked off balance there, regains his composure. But you're right, he's not fighting as squared up as he normally does as a southpaw, which I think Lorenzo and his team were expecting more of. There's a good left-hand body shot to the midsection there by Marquez. Marquez employing with the right, continues to march forward. Good jab by Marquez. Flicking that jab into the face of Lorenzo. It's very pesky and annoying.
The big difference in this round, and that was a good left by Marquez, is the jab. He's jabbing his way in now, and it's making a monstrous difference for him.
Break! No tiren, no tiren. Atrás, los dos atrás.
So Marquez, after sort of feeling things out, is fighting a very intelligent fight here.
You know, in the years 2007 and so far in 2008, Giovanni Lorenzo has fought a total of 6 rounds, not even 6 rounds. So he's headed toward the amount that he has fought in the entire year and a half.
Well, I think he's doing exactly what he told us, Marquez. He said his plan was to take Lorenzo out of his plan, and he may be doing just that.
Well, and we see the output from Lorenzo. He's getting lower now. The power of Lorenzo always there, and he still is landing rights like that to the head of Marquez. So any of those might do serious damage, but Marquez is clawing his way back in this fight.
You see the redness, the abrasion underneath the right eye of Lorenzo, but it's not in a bad place. Marquez a little cut up, I believe underneath the right eye. There's a straight left hand by Marquez. Lorenzo able to elude that left.
The rest of this fight is all about Marquez using his jab. When he uses it, he is so much more effective against this fighter.
Lorenzo missing with the right. Lorenzo starting to get a little frustrated now.
Atrás, atrás los dos, atrás.
Lorenzo, look out, he's going to get trapped in that corner.
No, 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 no. Déjalo salir, déjalo salir. Déjalo salir.
Busy night for Jorge Alonso. Oh, good left hand. A stinging left right on the neck by Raul Marquez. Countering shot there by Marquez.
Tiempo. Cada uno a la esquina. Buen trabajo.
Big finish by Marquez.
This is it now, Giovanni. Let's watch your mouth here.
Early on in the round, Raul Marquez working his way on the inside, working the body very effectively. There's the right hook, and now there's the jab that he used as he was moving in. And we look at the same sequence from a different angle, and you see that he used the jab as a rangefinder. Then he did the body work to right. This is the sequence that really quintessentially is everything that he would like to do in this fight. And then later on in the round, it was a straight left hand over a right hand by Lorenzo. So a good counterpunch by Raul Marquez.
A concerned look on the face of Giovanni Lorenzo.
You got to be quicker. Time in. Let's go.
One reason Marquez has been effective in this fight is that he's been able to adjust. He's sort of figured out how to neutralize Lorenzo's aggressiveness, and he's also won over the crowd. He's a popular guy to begin with all across the country.
And this is his home away from home. He signed with Warriors Boxing. Houston, of course, he's had many fights there. It's his home. But now that he's signed with Warriors Boxing, which is associated with the Seminole tribe here in Florida and all around the Hard Rocks, he's fought here several times, and he says it's like home turf for him.
He's certainly not fighting like a guy who's almost 37. Like a guy who's past his prime. He looks very sharp and very fresh.
Well, you know, he's throwing a lot of combinations, and that's you don't see from the older fighters.
And here is press row midway through this fight. How about that? A turn. 2 straight 10-9 rounds to Marquez has swung the fight.
Very, very close fight. I've got still 1 point for Lorenzo. I've made 1 round even, but that scoring is perfectly within the framework of what's going on in this fight.
No tiren.
Tremendous concentration on the face of Raul Marquez as he comes forward firing.
Use the jab right there, Marquez, and landed a straight left. Now this round's up for grabs because Lorenzo had landed some good counter punches early. Marquez has abandoned the jab in this round, and it has hurt him.
Marquez went to his people and said, after watching Lorenzo on television, I want this guy.
He was one of the middleweights he targeted. He also was after John Duddy and Sergio Mora, but Lorenzo was the one that he could get. And he's in there now with the shot to be the #1, to be mandatory for the middleweight title. You know, Lorenzo's landed some very good counter punches in this round, so this is going to be a difficult round for the judges to score.
Break. No.
Look at a little roughhouse tactics there. Not easy to tell, but there may be a subtle thing going on with Lorenzo's left eye. It's starting to close up a little bit.
No se amarren, vamos. No hagan la pelea mala, vamos, suéltese. Suéltalo. Break. No tire. Cabeza, no meta cabeza.
I don't know what Jorge Alonso has warned Raul Marquez for about 28 different things. I don't know what the last one was. It's a rough fight on the inside, but Lorenzo and Marquez are both initiating things.
You're gonna hit him.
No se amarren, señores, no se amarren, vamos. Limpio.
As we head for the bell.
Break. Yeah.
Crowd booing, Marquez going to the crowd. Not my fault.
We're in the 7th round. Put your head down.
Okay. Okay. Ábreme la boca.
Open up the mouth.
Cuando diga break, me dan un paso atrás limpio, si no voy a empezar a quitar puntos para amarrar, okay?
When there's a break, you gotta come out. It's the last time I'm telling you guys.
We're going to the 8th round, right?
All right, yes.
Okay. Giovanni, respírame hondo.
Well, Raul Marquez did have a few wily veteran tricks. Now there, he's being held by Lorenzo and whacking away. He kind of was holding Lorenzo with his arm, but Lorenzo was holding him as well. So he was just making it tough. Good right hand by Lorenzo, but the jab being used on the inside by Marquez. A lot of rough inside action.
Let's go.
There is a new cut beginning to develop over the right eye of Raul Marquez. Round 8 scheduled for 12, middleweight title eliminator. Former world champion at junior middleweight, Raul Marquez in the silver with black. Undefeated WBC #1, IBF #4 contender Giovanni Lorenzo in some difficulty here against the veteran.
You know, Jorge Alonso just let them fight out of that break, and that's the key. If he doesn't jump in there, they're probably going to fight their way out. You know, they're both Olympians. It's interesting. Of course, Lorenzo representing Dominican Republic and Marquez, the United States. The only difference is it was 8 years apart. 2000 for, for Lorenzo and 1992 for Raul Marquez. Marquez having a good 8th round so far.
And you said something interesting earlier that Raul Marquez, and I don't mean this in a bad way, is so old that he was on Wide World of Sports when Lorenzo probably never even heard of Wide World of Sports.
That's exactly right.
Marquez indicating a rabbit punch by Lorenzo.
Lorenzo never saw that guy slide off the ski.
Vinco Bogota.
Yes.
Kept falling every open. I never could understand why they didn't pick the guy up.
Never got hurt. Hey, good work by Marquez on the inside. Now that left hand caught Lorenzo's attention. This is how Marquez wants to fight this fight. And the only thing he's not doing is using that jab enough. There it is. Look at how it set up that left hand.
Raul Marquez. Firing away.
The jab and that straight left, and when Marquez uses that punch in this fight, it's a whole different fight.
Oh man, when he gets into that steady diet of jab, strait left, he's something to watch.
Good body work by Lorenzo, and he's done so little of it, and he's a good body puncher.
Yeah, he's kind of abandoned that plan, and perhaps Marquez has something to do with that.
The 8th round's been a very good round for Raul Marquez. And again, the big
right hand out of nowhere. An explosion by Lorenzo. And that got Raul Marquez's attention.
He's still coming forward, though, Marquez.
He's a warrior. Oh, look out. That could have been dangerous. Lorenzo missing with an uppercut from too far out.
You know, that could be a little discouraging to Lorenzo. He landed a Sunday punch that could have turned this fight around. It didn't. Instead, Marquez hurts him with the left hand. That's amazing. You got to give Raul Marquez credit at age 36 for taking that right hand from a big, young middleweight.
Well, we said earlier he's a very durable fighter, and he can really take a punch. And this guy can punch.
Oye, cuidado. Ya.
Huh? Tienes todo para ganar.
You have everything to win it. You're waiting a little bit. Are you tired?
Raul Marquez uses the jab very effectively and rips to the body, and there's that left hand that kind of knocked Lorenzo off balance. Then against the ropes, he'll use the jab and a straight left hand. That's the ticket for Marquez, and it keeps Lorenzo on his heels. However, there have been these thunderous right hands. This was the best of the fight for Lorenzo. We thought at the time it might turn this fight around. It didn't.
Well, in your keys, Al, you said about Lorenzo, don't let up. He's not. You said use the uppercut. He's really not using it enough. And you said hook to the body, and he really hasn't done a lot of that.
He has landed some good straight right hands, countering mostly, but for the most part, Marquez has been the busier fighter. And, you know, I think this fight certainly is within the grasp of either man right now, but there's that jab again by Marquez. But as you said, Steve, the tenor of this fight is one that Marquez can happily live with right now.
Absolutely.
It's a messy fight. It's on the inside. It's just what he wants.
Thank you. I think I just agreed with myself. There's a shot by Marquez, a countering right by Lorenzo. Why not? Nobody else will.
I always do.
Here's press row. And Marquez, Al, is extending his lead on these scorecards.
I have Marquez up also, in my case by 1 point, but I can understand there were a couple close rounds that could easily have gone for Marquez. And the body work of Marquez, very important, and I'll tell you, he's facing a man who is now in uncharted territory. He's never been to the 9th round.
There you go.
Lorenzo, and so working that body and continuing it, a very good idea. He is ripping body shots. There's the uppercut by Lorenzo. That one a little low.
He's been in only one scheduled 12-rounder, Lorenzo, but he won that by second round stoppage.
Now, Alonzo's doing the right thing. He's not letting them work their way out of those clinches, and it's making for a more interesting fight, and certainly Marquez likes that. Lorenzo's still landing those occasional rights. There's the uppercut. Can't get it in.
Marquez landing with an uppercut. Now, finally, a body shot by Lorenzo.
Lorenzo's starting to go to the body a little more in the last round or so, but that would have been a good idea earlier for him.
And believe me, Marquez is very well aware, as he goes to the body, Marquez, very well aware of Lorenzo's history.
And the holding is mostly being done by Lorenzo now on the inside. Is that fatigue from him?
And that is exactly what a guy like Marquez is banking on. In other words, I've done my job to this point. Let's see what happens from this stage on. That's probably going on in the mind of Marquez.
A lot of holding by Lorenzo on the inside.
He's tired.
He is tired. You are absolutely correct.
And this is, again, this was the part of the strategy of Marquez.
Lorenzo is now in a position where he's almost banking on a big right hand to change this fight or knock Marquez out, because he's not throwing too many punches.
Yeah, he's got to swing for the fences. Lorenzo's never, ever been in this position before. Very interesting fight. And hopefully a very interesting fight to come. Into the dressing room of Arthur Abraham, had his jaw broken by the heavy hands of Edison Miranda in the first fight. Perhaps, boy, he's hitting hard. Perhaps the most famous broken jaw story in boxing, Muhammad Ali, Ken Norton in '73. Ali fought bravely only to lose by narrow split decision. Abraham's jaw broken in round 4. He fought 8+ rounds in horrible condition and won. The rematch coming up later in our main event.
This is a terrific appetizer for that, isn't it?
Telling you.
We have to, in these last 3 rounds, we have to show that we can take this guy. You got to show them. We are losing. You have to take him out. You have to take him out.
Strong words, Al, from Pastor Ralph.
Pastor Ralph agrees with press row scoring, that's for sure. And Raul Marquez, excuse me, we had Rafael in another fight, didn't we? Good right by Lorenzo, he needed that, but Marquez is really, really in a groove now, working that body, working well on the inside. And that's having an effect on Lorenzo. Lorenzo just not doing anything in there. Kudos to referee Alonso for letting them fight out of those clinches. Oh, big left by Marquez.
Bruising punches by Raul Marquez. Marquez with 3 sons, the oldest at 15, Raul. He's a boxer, the youngest at 7. You guessed it, his name is Giovanni. And then there's 11-year-old Arturo, named after Raul's dad.
He told us he has to call this fight, oh, big right. He has to call Lorenzo, not Giovanni, because I don't want to call a guy by the name of my son. I'll feel like I'm hitting him.
There you go.
Vamos. Suelto. Suéltese.
Oh, good body shot there by Marquez.
The double right hook.
.40 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 1 no decision, 29 KOs for Marquez. Lorenzo, 26-0 with 18 knockouts. Rated number 1 by the WBC, number 4 by the IBF. But Raul Marquez, now blood opening up over the right eye of Raul Marquez. That last punch made things tougher for Marquez. It opens up.
Or it might have been a clash of heads on the inside. I'll be curious to see how they rule that. But that's a tough break for Raul Marquez.
Yes, it is, because now he's blinking heavily as that blood is getting into the eyes. Oh, man, you'd hate to see a fight take this kind of turn. Both eyes being affected now by Raul Marquez in terms of the cuts and the blood.
No tire.
And it was very hard to tell, but there could have been a clash of heads, an accidental clash of heads.
It could have been.
I can't swear to it, but they were banging heads on the inside.
It happens so fast, it's hard to see if it's a clash or a punch.
And, of course, we have to get the official ruling, and then, of course, they have to get to work on that cut in the corner.
Body shot here. A stinging body shot by Lorenzo, sending Marquez back.
No le pasa el guante.
Now, Lorenzo sensing the situation that it's more urgent for Marquez with the blood, and he goes firing away, jumps into Marquez, but he's
he just butted him. That was a blatant butt.
He did.
Get over there. 1 point, don't use the head. 1 point. Don't use the head like that again.
Well, he has drawn the ire of Jorge Alonso. That's an intentional headbutt. Back comes Marquez. He's trying to end it here. Marquez firing bombs. They continue after the bell. And much bad blood, no pun intended, here in Hollywood, Florida. That's got this crowd going.
2 more rounds. Let me work him. He wants some water. I'll work it here.
We believe it did come from a clash of heads. Well, no, this is afterwards. This is the intentional headbutt. And the interesting thing is he waited till he was on the other side and then tried to grind his head into the cut of Marquez. And at the end of the round, Marquez and both of them wailing away. And they got all tangled up. The bell sounded. Alonso trying to get into them. And when he pulled Marquez, nearly pulled him down. So things are getting interesting.
Very heated now as we head into what they call the championship rounds in a title eliminator.
Now Lorenzo's being the aggressor, which is not his stock and trade yet in this fight, but he's landing some punches.
It has developed into a crowd-pleasing affair. Good right hand on the inside, right on the head of Marquez. Lorenzo being held by Marquez. Lorenzo resorting to the roughhouse tactics earlier, losing a point in round 10 for the intentional butt.
Marquez has really abandoned his jab, and if he could get that punch working again, it would be very effective for him. A lot of rough action on the inside.
A very bruising physical fight. Fresh throw scoring all Marquez at this point.
I have Marquez by 2 points.
By a widening amount, 3-4 and 3 points.
And that's fair enough. There's nothing wrong with that scoring. And of course, he lost a point the last round.
And you heard Pastor Ralph Ferrite in the corner of Lorenzo. You're losing the fight. There's a good left hand there by Marquez.
Marquez used the jab again, and when he does that, that left hand gets in.
The fists are flying here.
Again, the head of Lorenzo, and that got a warning. There's that jab. Marquez, you know, that punch helps him so much in this fight.
Marquez's face drenched in blood, fighting through it, showing his warrior spirit.
He's a 16-year veteran, Raul Marquez, a former champion. He's been in with the best, people like Fernando Vargas, Jermaine Taylor, and others.
And some people said that before the fight, the experience, the level of opposition, the savvy of Raul Marquez could be the difference in this fight. Even though he's going against a young buck, undefeated guy with raw power like Lorenzo.
It's helped him. Now Lorenzo, to his credit, has not buckled completely, and he's going after Raul Marquez.
Right uppercut from too far out by Lorenzo. Marquez with a right hand, a left to the top of Lorenzo's head. Lorenzo misses with an overhand right, misses with a left hook. Marquez taking that sequence. Less than 30 seconds left in the 11th. Marquez coming forward. Left hand raising by Marquez. Goes to the body. Right hand that got the attention of Lorenzo.
Again, that jab and the straight left hand by Marquez.
This is a great show of heart by Marquez, whose face is bloodied, but he continues to wing away at Lorenzo.
Those are big body shots by Marquez. Wow, that's fun to watch. That is fun to watch.
Marquez hearing it from the crowd, and Raul salutes the fans.
Give him water, give him water. I'll work the cuts, give him water. Let's keep it going. Hear me.
You're winning, we're up, we got it. Keep this work going, David. I'm the man. You're the man,
He's falling over, he's tired.
That's all he's doing.
You gotta knock him out to win. You gotta knock him out. How are you feeling? Talk to me. Good.
Tiene que sacar ahora. Mira todo el mundo allá, Santo Domingo, Giovanni, vamos a pelear.
You got to knock him out.
Hay que noquear, te cogió con un buen palo ahí.
He got you with a good one.
Me está fallando derecha arriba.
The right is not working.
High drama in Hollywood, Florida, that is. Round 12, and this guy Marquez has to fight through not one, not two, at least 3 cuts. 2 over his eyes, 1 on near his right temple.
His first 12-rounder, Raul Marquez, first one was 12 years ago. Lorenzo hasn't had one yet. This is his first, and I'll tell you what, Raul Marquez is making him work every second.
And you heard Pastor Ralph Ferrite in the corner of Lorenzo. You need the knockout to win. Can Lorenzo pull it out?
The interesting thing for Marquez, if he feels he's ahead, which they may, he's not boxing, he's going after Lorenzo.
Yeah, we're just going by the unofficial scores, as you can see. Press row.
The judges could certainly have it differently. I have Marquez ahead. I think he's winning this fight.
The judges, Michael Pernick, Michael Ross, Peter Trevatero, all from Florida. Look at the blood streaking down the right side of Marquez's face.
Now Lorenzo is not acting like a man who's desperate to get a knockout win. He's still trying to load up with the right hand. They told him the right's not working. You've got to try other things and attack Marquez. He's not doing it.
I was just going to say it's the veteran Marquez who looks the hungrier of the two right now, and a crucial part of the fight.
And the more active, Steve, and that's been the story of this fight. This is a gratifying, if he can hang in there, this is a gratifying moment for Raul Marquez. He's got a minute and 14 to not get hurt, not get knocked down, not get knocked out, and he might have himself a landmark win in his career.
Yes, a benchmark victory. It would go down as, without question, one of his most satisfying wins if he can pull it out.
He's fought more famous people, probably better people, but this is a young guy who's ranked at the top of his division and undefeated.
Talking about Shane Mosley, Jermaine Taylor, Fernando Vargas.
He's blasting away, but now there comes Lorenzo after Marquez had landed big shots.
Coming up on 40 seconds left in the final round. The feeling is Lorenzo needs a dramatic punch here, a knockout to win the fight, but it's Marquez, despite that, marching forward and throwing.
Alonso grabbing the head of Lorenzo because, again, he was trying to use it against that cut.
Things looked a little dicey at the beginning for Marquez, but then he took over. He fought a great game plan. He took Lorenzo out of his fight plan. Very smart fight by the veteran Marquez. All bloodied, but it doesn't bother him. That's it. Both raise their hands in victory. We'll find out in a matter of moments. But you know what this crowd thinks, of course. Are we looking at Lorenzo's first loss?
Now that's what they think in his corner. That's what we think, and that's what the press row scoring thinks. Now we have to find out what the official judges think.
Exactly.
Which is they're the only ones that count.
So it is now in the hands of Michael Pernick, Michael Ross, and Peter Trevatero.
Lorenzo seemingly happy about his effort and feeling like maybe he won this fight, but
and it would be an extra special feeling for Marquez because his last fight, which he thought he won, was turned into a split decision against Bronco McCart, into a draw. It was a split decision for Marquez. They changed it to a draw, so he thought he had won 6 in a row, and that was changed, much to his chagrin. Well, they're working. There were 3 cuts on his face.
Raul Marquez is one of the most interesting, intelligent, and amiable boxers you'll ever or anybody that you'll ever come in contact with. And what guts and fortitude he showed here tonight, as well as plenty of skill.
He's got an amazing memory too. He remembers that we broadcast his fights from like the late 80s and early 90s. I broadcast Marquez when he was in the Goodwill games in Seattle a long time ago, 1990 in Seattle. And when did you first see him?
Actually in '89 in the amateur contest, and then '92 at the Olympics. And
wow.
He had a great amateur career, as did Lorenzo, of course. We mentioned they were far apart, but this man has created a very important moment for him, perhaps tonight.
And Al, we're going to go inside the ropes and take a look at an illustration of Marquez's success.
Raul Marquez, when he was able to get on the inside finally and get his rhythm in this fight, it took him a couple rounds, jabbed his way in, ripped the body.
and forced this fight in a way that Lorenzo didn't want it to go. Occasionally Marquez would get hit with some counter rights like a moment ago, but mostly he bulled his way in, and the key to me was using the jab and the straight left to work his way in and then body shots. It was pressure, pressure, pressure from Raul Marquez.
All right, we are set for the official word. Let's get it up to ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we have a close but unanimous decision. All three judges score the bout exactly the same, 114 to 113. All three in favor of the winner of this IBF middleweight eliminator, Raul El Diamante Marquez.
Age prevails over youth in our co-feature.
And if not for the point deduction, Raul Marquez wouldn't be standing there as a winner. That's a little surprising.
Well, according to the judges, Lorenzo won the last round, but it was not enough.
Okay.
So Raul Marquez, at 36, 9 years older than Giovanni Lorenzo, demonstrates he still has plenty left by winning this title eliminator. Let's go up into the ring and Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Raul, congratulations to you. He had a 9-year advantage on you in age. How did you manage to pull this off? Because every fight that you've been in, your last 7, has been do or die for your career.
Absolutely. First of all, look, I'd like to thank God for this win. He gave me the strength. I'd like to thank everybody at Lopez Boxing Gym, the 3 guys. Hey, wouldn't have been for you guys. I did it. Warriors Boxing, only the strong survive. Mutan, Norberto, I don't forget about you guys. And Eastside Boxing, where we come from, the gym where I come from. And all my family, everybody that was behind this. How did I do it? I trained hard, older, wiser, and just a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work with my father.
He seemed to have control in the early rounds, and then you came on in the mid-rounds and then beyond. Was that simply experience?
Yeah, that was the game plan. You know, we thought we could get to him faster. I didn't look at my best, trust me, I didn't look at my best. But, you know, styles make fights. I mean, I had the correct sparring. Everything was right, you know, but the kid, you got to understand, he's up for the fight. He's a young guy. He's hungry. He was awkward. I think he was dirty at times. He would hang on me a lot, you know. Not making any excuses, but hey, that's boxing. I had to do what I had to do to win. I'm glad I pulled out the decision. I had to dig really deep in there, and I think I took over the mid-rounds. I could see him, you know, kind of like, you know, the guy's only gone 8 rounds the most. He's never been 12 rounds, so I could see coming on. My dad kept pressing me on the corner. Thank God I listened to him. Should have listened more, but you know, you're always learning. At 36, I'm always learning. Now I got a shot at some kind of world title, and I think I deserve it.
Let me ask you about the courage that you displayed here tonight. He headbutted you 3 times. The referee told me after the fight, 1 of them accidental, 2 of them intentional, and it did cause the cut on the side of your head. How did you manage to fight through that and not be bothered by the blood and the pain?
Listen, man, I'm a warrior. That's why I'm with Leon Margul's Warriors Boxing. That's why they signed me up, because I'm a warrior. Everybody knows that I come to fight. You saw the kid, like I said on interviews, sooner or later he was going to start running, trying to box me, trying to be dirty, trying to headbutt me, and that's what everybody tries to do. But I'm a warrior. Blood doesn't faze me. Blood makes me hungrier. I come to give the people what they want to see, fights. I wish he wouldn't have been holding on so much and leaning on me. But, you know, that's boxing. You know, I'm just glad I pulled it out, and I'll move on to better and bigger things.
Congratulations to you, Raul. I know you'll be watching this next fight with a lot of interest.
Thank you, Jim, and thanks to Showtime, too. And all the guys at Al and Marv, we go way back.
It's
man.
Steve.
I'm sorry, Steve.
You used to be with Marv.
I know, but Steve, too, covered me years ago in the Goodwill games. We all go way back.
You don't know how much I enjoyed you saying that. Let's go back to you, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Jim. You know what? My parents used to make the same mistake, so there's no problem there. Marquez vaults himself into world title contention. Let's take a look at the scoring first, the official judges, and they all had it the same way, Al.
Yeah, a little closer than I think we would have thought, and that'll be reflected when we see the press row scoring.
And here we go. The panel of press row judges saw it the with Marquez winning 115-112, 116-112 for Carl Freitag of FightNews.com. And George Kimball also had a 115-112 like Mr. Alvarez. So Marquez improves to 41-3-1. He has been to the proverbial mountain before, and he looks to get there again. What a disappointing night for Lorenzo. He had built his record on mostly light opposition, couldn't get it done tonight in his biggest fight. One fight complete. We stand by for our marquee matchup. Originally, Edison Miranda wanted Mikhail Kessler, but when the former super middleweight champ inexplicably withdrew, he welcomed the opportunity for sweet revenge, title or no title. A fight of tremendous importance to both Miranda and Arthur Abraham, two huge punchers who can't wait to get at each other again. Here's a reminder about tonight's poll question as we invite you to text your response to us here at SHOTV. That's 74688. If Edison Miranda wins tonight, should Abraham and Miranda fight again? For yes, text the number 1. For no, text the number 2. Text your response to us at 74688. Standard text messaging rates apply. And before we get to our main event, let's see what's coming up in the near future.
Showbox, the new generation, returns with a special edition Saturday, July 5th at 11 p.m. It's a rematch for the WBO junior welterweight title as Ricardo Torres defends his crown against number 2 contender Kendall Holt. Also on tap, Lamont Peterson in a 10-round junior welterweight fight. On Saturday, July 26th, it's an unprecedented mixed martial arts extravaganza. Elite XC returns to the cage on Showtime at 8 p.m. Then it's the primetime network return of CBS Elite XC Saturday Night Fights, featuring the championship rematch between Robbie Lawler and Scott Smith. That's a 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific start. More Showtime boxing and MMA in August. Showbox, the new generation, is back at its regular day and time, Friday, August 1st at 11 p.m. Then Saturday, August 2nd at 9 p.m., Showtime Championship Boxing returns as Dmitry Kirillov defends his IBF Junior Bantamweight title against former flyweight champion Vic Darchinyan. And on Friday, August 15th, Show XC Elite Challenger Series returns with a rematch as Jared Hammond looks to avenge his controversial loss to Poai Suganuma. That's starting at 11 p.m. For more information on all Showtime sports and other programs, visit our website at show.com. That's SHO.com. And coming up on Show 2.
Amazing knockouts, heated rivalries, epic battles. You've seen it on Showtime. Now see it again on Show Sports Presents. Every night, Monday through Friday at 10, only on Show 2.
Hey, we had two impressive winners on Showbox last night. An exciting junior middleweight bout where both fighters landed cleanly. Undefeated prospect Ronald Hearns earned a 7th-round TKO over Jose Luis Gonzalez, with Hearns gaining the upper hand. Referee Roberto Ramirez stopped it at the suggestion of Gonzalez's corner. And the son of legendary Tommy Hearns extends his record to 19-0. And in the super middleweight main event, Olympic gold medalist Andre Ward moved his undefeated record to 16-0 with an imposing 8th-round TKO over Jerson Ravello. After flooring Ravello in the 8th, Ward swarmed all over a broken-down Ravello. Referee Steve Smoger eventually stepped in to stop it at the 2:37 mark, and Andre Ward had his 6th straight knockout victory. Coming up from Hard Rock Live, the main event, Abraham Miranda II, unfinished business. Now, going into the first fight, people knew these were two strong, tough, talented fighters. But who knew when they got in the ring it would be so combustible and so personal? Al Bernstein has a look back at Abraham Miranda I.
From the opening bell, this match was competitive as both fighters continually landed damaging punches. Midway through the 4th round, Miranda broke Abraham's jaw.
His jaw's broken.
It's broken, but he can continue. Okay. In the following round, Miranda inexplicably headbutted Abraham.
Hey, Greg, watch your head.
The referee correctly ruled it an intentional foul and deducted 2 points.
2 points. 2 points.
While Abraham took his allotted 5 minutes to recover, poor officiating and a misinterpretation of the rules almost caused the fight to be stopped for the wrong reasons.
It's an intentional foul. We go to the cards. It's 5th round.
However, as Abraham's injury had been caused by a punch, not a headbutt, he was forced to continue with a broken jaw or lose the contest.
Now, we're ready to fight.
In the 7th, Miranda was penalized 2 more times for questionable low blows.
That's 1 point. Low blow.
Although he may not have been given adequate warnings. Miranda lost his 5th point in the 11th for yet another low blow.
Team up, team up, team up. Oh, yeah, let's go, let's go. All right, over there.
When the final bell rang and the scores were totaled, Abraham, who had fought 8 rounds with a broken jaw but had a 5-point cushion, won a relatively close unanimous decision, while Miranda suffered his first loss.
While Miranda felt the judging was unfair, it doesn't take away from Abraham's display of heart and courage. The pain, the disfigured face, you saw it all. In surgery immediately after the fight, Abraham had 2 titanium plates and 22 screws implanted into his jaw, which was broken in 2 places. Some feared his career would never recover, but he went on to defend his title 4 times by knockout. His toughness personified by the quote, "Miranda couldn't even beat me with a fractured jaw." He may have a point. Moments from now, Miranda gets his chance to even the score in what has the makings, Al, of just another outstanding fight.
And it does because of the makeup of these 2 fighters, that's for sure. For instance, if Edison Miranda had grown up in the Old West, I think it's very likely he would have been a gunslinger. And in a metaphorical sense, he is one now, because few boxers are as committed to seeking a knockout at any cost. But when you're fighting a man you couldn't knock out even though he had a broken jaw for 8 rounds, how do you win? Well, you do it by fighting the right fight strategically and technically, because this fight might go a while. And part of that right fight for Miranda is using the jab. Edison Miranda has a really good one. And he needs to be more disciplined by not throwing wild left hooks that Abraham can counter. He needs to use the right hand early and often. It's his big punch. With a good jab as a rangefinder, this sets up the punch that carries Miranda's big payload, and that, of course, is the right hand. Now, Abraham covers up well, so the right hand has to be thrown a little wider to get in, but throwing punches wider, never a problem for Edison Miranda. King Arthur Abraham better make his kingdom the center of the ring, because he gets in trouble when he's on the ropes. Now, he tends to shut down for periods in fights and just not punch. He can't afford that tonight. His counter right hand to take advantage of Miranda mistakes, well, that was a big factor in the first match between these 2. An uppercut and a landed left hook will end a Miranda flurry, and then Abraham will uncoil with his counter punches. First, a left hook, but it's the right hand counter that really hits the mark. This is the punch Abraham thinks will take him to victory tonight.
The very confident Edison Miranda, incredible story of hardship, abandoned by his parents in Colombia, survived in the streets. He was left homeless and hungry by corrupt fight managers and promoters. Things finally turned upon relocating to Puerto Rico, and his career took off here in South Florida, where he is very popular, as you can hear. He's 6-0 right here at Hard Rock Live, known for his trash talk, predicted a 9th round knockout, and said this time he'll break the other side of Abraham's jaw. He usually gets right to it, Al, but many feel he will really come out bombing. Number one, to avoid a repeat of the first fight when he thought he got robbed. And secondly, the Abraham people think he'll tire as the fight goes on.
Well, to avoid that happening for the first time in his career, Miranda, who's hearing it from this crowd that loves him, has hired a professional dietitian for the whole camp It's made him in great shape, and you'll see it when he takes off that top. He's got a heck of a body for this fight.
4-1 with 3 knockouts since Abraham. The punishing loss to Kelly Pavlik, but 2 straight KO wins at 168. He sent David Banks through the ropes and halfway out of the ring, a candidate for knockout of the year. Well, he's looking all business right now. Edison Miranda, who wants his sweet redemption. His face, not used to this kind of reaction. He is looking better physically than the last time he fought Miranda. Undefeated King Arthur, a mystery to most American fight fans. His United States debut, an Armenian who moved to Berlin when he was 14, wildly popular in Germany. In fact, some felt he was the beneficiary of a hometown decision over Miranda. He postponed his mandatory to renew this rivalry, really wants to make a name in the States, keeps his title, win, lose, or draw. But Al, with a victory, the possibility of a mega fight with Kelly Pavlik.
Well, and if he would get that, he would face the same kind of hostility he's facing right now. They're talking about that fight if it happened maybe in Cleveland in front of a big crowd. He's got to get past this hostile crowd and Edison Miranda tonight, and we'll see how he reacts to this. He really has almost never been in a crowd that didn't love him.
Exactly. He comes off a stirring 12th round KO of Elvin Ayala in March. A never surrender mentality. King Arthur says he's ready to conquer America. As we check the numbers, the tail of the tape, Miranda, who is looking more cut and muscular since moving up to super middleweight, came back down to 165 yesterday. We weighed him tonight 174.5. Abraham's up from middleweight, was initially a ½ pound over the catch weight, then hit the mark less than an hour later. Tonight he's 172, so at least they're similar. The rules clouded by confusion, you'll recall, in the first fight. There's no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. The fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt causes a fight to end within 4 rounds, it's a no decision. After 4 rounds, they go to the scorecards. And if a punch causes a cut and the injured fighter can't continue, he loses by TKO. So here at Hard Rock Live in Hollywood, Florida, getting ready for Abraham versus Miranda II, a non-title fight that feels like a title fight. The official introductions from our ring announcer, the classy Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida for boxing's much anticipated rematch featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Seminole Warriors Boxing and Zowerland Event in association with the Seminole Tribe of Florida, Chairman Mitchell Cypress, Cafe Bustelo, and Showtime. This bout is sanctioned by the Florida State Boxing Commission, Chairman Ramiro Ortiz, Vice Chairman Don Bowen, Commissioners Mel Gerardo, James Steinecke, and Dr. Donald Perry, with the Executive Director Tom Malloy. Our physicians at ringside, Dr. Alan Fields, Dr. Donald Weiss, and our timekeeper at the bell, Carmine Chirachella. Introducing our 3 judges scoring this bout from ringside, from Wolverhampton, England, John Coyle. From Toronto, Ontario, Canada, Harry Davis. And from Rivervale, New Jersey, Steve Weisfeld. Our 3rd man to the ring, a referee in charge, hailing from Jacksonville, Florida, Telis Asimenios. All right, fans, here we go with our main event of the evening, a rematch special attraction scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida, it's my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks, fighting out of Carolina, Puerto Rico, by way of Barranquilla, Colombia. He weighed in at 165 pounds with a record of 30 wins, 2 losses. He has 26 wins coming by way of knockout. He is ranked the number 6 super middleweight in the world by the IBF, number 2 in the world by the WBC. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the hard-hitting and explosive Edison Pantera Miranda. And his opponent across the ring on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trunks and joining us from Berlin, Germany. He weighed in at 166 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with 26 wins, no losses, 21 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight making his live U.S. television debut, please welcome the longtime and undefeated IBF middleweight champion of the world, introducing King Arthur Abraham. Once again, our referee in charge, Edison Miranda II, now to give instructions.
Gentlemen, you have received instructions in the dressing rooms. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourselves at all times. Good luck. God bless to both of you. Anything below here is a low blow. Your belt is looking good. Shake hands. God bless.
Miranda refusing to look at Abraham, and here is the result of our text message poll question. No surprise, Al, 70% said yes.
I think they know that this is going to be a great fight.
And they want it. This fight hasn't even started yet, and the people want to see it again. Miranda typically comes out winging. Abraham wants to start faster, but Abraham's folks convinced Miranda will sputter after 4, so somewhat contradictory there. I think Abraham just wants to strike first this time and not get caught early as in the first fight.
I think a key point about all this is, if we look back dispassionately at that first fight, Abraham himself was able to stun Miranda a little bit early in the fight, but then once his jaw was broken after 4 rounds, of course, was a little bit less effective. So we shouldn't believe that Abraham isn't capable of hurting Miranda. He is.
No mystery. Miranda wants a street brawl. He's more effective coming forward, doesn't fight as well going backward. Abraham's got to push Miranda back, put on the pressure, bully him. Miranda's money punch, the monster right. That's the punch that broke Abraham's jaw. He's sometimes wild and undisciplined. There's the right hand by Miranda. Abraham also has a huge right. He can drop you with either hand.
You know, they tell us, Asimenios, the referee, is going to be a very key figure in this. Let me tell you one of the reasons. You look at how Abraham keeps his hands. That's to prevent you from keep hitting his head, and you have to go to the body. Some of those body blows, of course, were called low by Randy Newman in the last fight. Edison Miranda doesn't think they're going to be tonight if they're not low, in his opinion. We'll see.
And Asimenios knows Miranda's style very well. He refereed his last fight. So he's been in there with him before. Body shots by Abraham. And Abraham, yeah, you're right. He goes into that defensive shield and he suddenly explodes with a burst of hard punches. Part of his MO. But he does fight sporadically.
Yeah, and he's very aware that coming here, he's got to punch a little bit more if he expects to win a decision. Now, their theory is Miranda's going to all of a sudden fall apart after 6 or 7 rounds. If that doesn't happen, they need plan B.
And Miranda, just like in the first fight, taking the early initiative. Boy, both just took the other's best shots in the first fight. They absorbed some massive body shot there. And now here's a twist. Abraham's told to keep him up.
Well, that one did straight, just a smidge low.
It's just amazing there were no knockdowns in that first fight. And still astonished that Miranda couldn't drop Abraham in his horrible condition. Right hand by Miranda. He's got Abraham where Abraham doesn't want to be, deep in the corner.
The jab of Miranda is making itself known a little bit, an important punch for him. You can see that these guys make a very good matchup. They really do.
Half hook, half uppercut by Miranda that just grazed Abraham, fortunately for Arthur. Yeah, the jab, he sort of abandoned it against Kelly Pavlik, but we saw more of it in the first fight against Abraham. It was effective. Vivian Dude, our German translator. Felix de Jesus, our Spanish translator.
Du musst rechts rumgehen, ja? Verstehst du? Dann wird deine Schlagern länger. Pass auf.
He needs to go right because you've got to be careful for his difficult side.
Aufpassen, geh nach rechts raus. Schön abblocken. Und du musst mal auf so eine kurze Rippe hauen.
Take away his attention. Get him so he doesn't know what's coming.
Right, let's initiate. When you initiate, he holds off a little bit. Don't let him get on. He'll die after 5 or 6 rounds, so keep going.
Hey, they feel the same way.
That's everybody's mantra, isn't it?
I guess. Jose Bonilla in the corner, the trainer for Miranda, a trainer/father figure for Edison Miranda. Uli Wegner, a famed German trainer, working with Abraham. Worked with guys like Sven Otka and Marcus Bayer, certainly not big punchers like Arthur Abraham.
No, but men that helped revive boxing in Germany and make it very big, which it is now.
Longtime super middleweight champions, yes.
Miranda, when he uses, there's a nice uppercut on the inside. Miranda, when he uses that jab, I'll tell you, it's a whole different fighter. And you mentioned against Kelly Pavlik, when he was using that punch more effective, kind of abandoned it. What did I say in the keys? No wild left hooks by Miranda. He apparently did not read my keys. He just threw a wild left hook. Don't they pay attention to those things?
We'll send him a tape after the show. A little late, but Miranda again taking Abraham into the corner, and Abraham invites him in. He says, come on in, you're not hurting me.
Now that's Abraham's version of the rope-a-dope, and this is what he does. This is the way he fights, and then he'll all of a sudden counterpunch out of this posture.
It's interesting, Miranda usually looks to intimidate, but Abraham's trying to pull a reverse here on Miranda.
And you know, Abraham believes.
Body shot by Miranda.
That was a beauty. They believe Miranda's going to punch himself out in 4 or 5 rounds doing it.
And that's exactly why Abraham is taking this posture.
And he did that in the first fight too. That's his style. It's what he does. But he's going to accentuate it against Miranda.
Yeah, they got word that recently Miranda hired a professional nutritionist, a dietitian. Their feeling is when that happens, there's a problem with the fighter, but we'll see.
Carlos Assamenius warned Edison Miranda, I think, for using his head on the inside.
Well, he got 2 points deducted in the 5th round of the first fight. Oh, what a hard body shot by Miranda.
Those are thunderous punches. Now, they're wearing different gloves in this fight. The Reyes gloves being worn by Abraham and the Everlast gloves by Miranda. Ironically, Reyes gloves are thought of as the puncher's gloves.
Right.
And yet it's Miranda who's this monstrous puncher who's wearing Everlast.
Confidence.
Could be. He's having a good round, Edison Miranda. And it's not surprising Abraham would give away a few of these early rounds.
And Miranda's parading around the line. Here we go again.
Well, I didn't see that punch. I don't know if it was low or not.
Are you okay? It's okay.
Right in the cuff.
Now, there's no point being deducted yet.
Or at least Abraham's claiming it was in the cuff. I didn't see it.
We'll have a chance, I'm sure, to take a look at it.
Abraham motions to the referee. I mean, how many times is this guy going to get away with this? But we'll have to wait and see.
Honestly, in fast motion, couldn't tell whether that was low or not.
Below the belt, watch your punches, okay? No more, let's go.
Oh yeah, he's being admonished by Assamenius, but of course he lost 3 points for low blows in the first fight, 2 for the intentional headbutt, so 5 altogether.
Now Abraham being a little bit more aggressive. You know that Miranda will concentrate on the head now. But Abraham's so good at covering up to the head, you have to go to the body.
Abraham, of course, had 5 minutes, up to 5 minutes to recover. He only used 40 seconds.
Well, guess what? He just threw a nice body shot that was legal, Miranda, and Abraham comes down.
Countering body shots by Abraham.
Done.
Well, just like the second round in the first fight, Miranda hits after the bell, but not as.
Well, let's see whether this punch was low or not. There will be a left hand downstairs or a right uppercut. Well, guess what? It was low. Arthur Abraham had every right to wince on that. When there was an uppercut, he was trying to come up to the body, and it landed very low. So Edison Miranda gets himself in hot water again, and Asimenios said no more.
Ja, ist nicht schon reif. Aber weißt was ich meine, ja?
You know what I mean?
Nach rechts rüber, hast du verstanden?
You have to go over the right.
Schön wegen deiner rechten Hand schützen.
You got to keep your left and protect yourself, cover yourself. You're going to do it. You're strong.
Vorbereiten, dann muss mehr kommen.
Keep it clean and go for it.
Komm mal, Junge.
Al, if our interpretation is correct, it appeared as if Uli Vegnar, the feisty trainer for Arthur Abraham, he said something to the effect, just get in there and fight. Stop messing around. And let's see what happens here. I think he thought that Abraham may have been faking.
You know, I mean, he did get hit with a tough uppercut. Here's when Miranda gets in trouble. When he tries to throw the uppercut and it's a body punch. If he only threw the right hand to the body or the hook, for the most part, he's okay. When he throws those uppercuts and he gets in trouble, that's what most of the low blows were in the first fight.
There's those body shots by Abraham. That's been very successful for Abraham. Here in the early going segment. Oh, big right hand on the jaw by Abraham. That was his best punch of the night. Miranda says, let me see what else you got, Arthur. These are two tough, well, I can't say it on TV.
Abraham claiming that was low and it wasn't. So he's looking for some more calls. He's looking for some points.
I think you're right.
Even though the first one was unquestionably low.
You know, even if the 5 points weren't deducted in the first fight, Abraham would have won the fight. It's amazing.
Well, according to the story, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm saying, yeah, I don't agree with it. But.
Now, Abraham's landed some nice punches in this round. Miranda's been busier, as mostly the case against any fighter against Abraham, because Abraham is very economical with his punches, but Arthur Abraham has landed some nice shots in this round.
Yeah, Abraham's waiting for a home run.
Abraham's problem is that here he is in the United States, not in his comfort zone, both in every sense, and he's going to have to punch for to win this fight.
Stop! No posting! No posting! Let's go! You got it? Let's go! Back!
I'm not sure what that warning was for I guess it's for pushing.
It sounded like he said no pushing.
I didn't see what Miranda was doing.
Well, he's certainly trying to take control, Asimenios, no question about that. Of course, there was heavy. Oh, look out!
Wow!
That wobbled Miranda. I think that was a right hand. It wobbled Miranda. His knees buckled.
Even then, Abraham didn't come forward. He just does not want to do anything but counterpunch. Oh, great left hook by Abraham.
Yeah, that was a good combination by Abraham. The left hook did the most damage. This is a big round for Abraham. A right hand there, but he couldn't get it through Abraham's guard. It's so tough to do that. That's why he has to loop around sometimes to go to the side of Abraham's head. Final seconds of round 3, and it's heating up.
Abraham landing that right hand over the left of Edison Miranda. One of about 3 or 4 big punches Abraham landed in that last round. Now, this is where Miranda is warned here, and I'm not sure what that warning was for. Grabbing and holding and hitting, I guess. I am not sure what that warning was for. And then Abraham at the end of the round landed some big punches. Now, that was actually a little more just off-balance action by Edison Miranda. I'm not sure how much he was hurt, but he got hit with some big shots.
Wieder zumachen. Du musst immer wieder hier absichern. Haut und wirft den Cross rein. Komm mal, Junge, komm.
Do a counter punch. Come on, let's do it.
Well, if you'll recall in the first fight, this was a sensational round for Abraham, round 4. He really stepped up the attack and found his rhythm. We'll see what happens here in the rematch.
Of course, the other problem was in round 4 was when he got his jaw broken right at the end of the round.
The end of the round, yes.
He'd like the first part without the second part.
That's true. That was a right hand, but Miranda is down!
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, come on. Can you continue? Okay.
It was a left hand by Arthur Abraham, and now he's looking to close the show.
You wouldn't have expected a left hook from Abraham to be the punch to knock Miranda down, but he landed a good counter one earlier in the last round, and Miranda still in trouble.
Big combination upstairs by Abraham. Yeah, you're looking for the right hand, and it was a left hook. That's the 4th time. Miranda's down, make it number 5 now. He's down 2 times here in the 4th, and he's got 2 minutes to go.
6, 7. Hey, come here. Come here. Javier. Ready? Let's go.
Pavlik put him down 2 times in the 6th. He's down 2 times here. He's down for a 3rd time, and it's over. There's no 3 knockdown rule, but regardless, Kelasa Semenyo says good night to Edison Miranda. It ends in round 4. How about that for irony? It was round 4 where he had his jaw broken in the first fight. It's round 4 where he ends it with 3 big knockdowns in the rematch.
We said Edison Miranda was a gunslinger. He will get you or you will get him. He got gotten tonight by this man who did it with an unlikely punch, counter left hooks. He's not a big left hook artist, but he landed them tonight, and they were too much for Edison Miranda. And the king has come. He started to build his court in America, he hopes.
He came to conquer, and he did. And for Arthur Abraham, the rematch well worth waiting for. Took almost 2 years, and he's done it.
Much to the chagrin of a lot of this crowd, of course, Miranda. This is his home. He was 6-0 in this ring and in this arena. Not anymore, not undefeated now.
No revenge for Edison Miranda. Celebration time for Arthur Abraham.
Abraham was able to get it done with a kind of unlikely punch, the left hook. He's got one, but it's not his stock in trade. Well, actually, the first one, right hand started the problem in the first knockdown. Then the left hook got there. So the right started the damage, and then the left hook. But in the second one, it was the left hand that got to him. That one just barely missed. And this one got there very, very strongly. Miranda had been hurt, of course, already, and Edison Miranda, not known as the greatest defensive fighter. And so when he was in trouble, his defense failed him. Abraham, very smart, just cranking up those hooks. He knew that punch would land. Every time he threw that hook, it was getting in, and that was the end of the fight, the 3rd and final knockdown, and the end of Miranda's hope to get revenge.
A bruising assault by Arthur Abraham. No revenge for Miranda. What could be a hugely important win for Abraham.
Thank you, my father.
With talk of a unification showdown with Kelly Pavlik. Arthur Abraham does it again, 2 for 2 versus Miranda, doing it in his American debut and coming up in weight against the guy who had already made the adjustment, fighting at super middleweight. Oh, what a bad night for Edison Miranda. Abraham, meanwhile, remaining undefeated, now 27-0 with 22 knockouts. Miranda falls to 30-3. 2 of those 3 losses to Abraham. Let's get the official word from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 1 minute 13 seconds of round number 4. Our referee in charge, Telis Asemenyo, stops the contest. He is the winner by way of technical knockout and still undefeated King Arthur Abraham.
An estimated 3 million viewers expecting to see this one tonight on German TV at 4 o'clock in the morning, Al. So a lot of folks, if they stayed up late in Germany, are celebrating right now.
Drinking a little coffee, and they are happy to see this result. A milestone victory for Arthur Abraham, and one that could propel him to some major fights.
Huge win for King Arthur Abraham, and he does it on the road in his American debut. He was booed coming into the ring. He just smiled it off. Edison Miranda was cheered coming into the ring, but it's Arthur Abraham with an emphatic victory. Let's get it up to Jim Gray in the ring. Jim?
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Arthur, congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's quite a way to come to America in your debut. Why were you so confident tonight in your rematch? Vivian Du will translate for us in German.
Warum hattest du so viel Vertrauen, dass du das schaffst heute?
Weil ich bin eine wahre Champion, ich bin ein Weltmeister und ein Weltmeister muss Vertrauen haben an sich und muss überall kämpfen. Dann ist wahre Champ.
I'm a true champion, and a true champion has confidence in himself. So I was here to make the title here.
What was the difference tonight?
Was war der Unterschied heute?
Im Ring gibt es keinen Unterschied. Ist überall gleich.
There is no difference. Every ring's the same.
No, the difference in the fight. In your last fight against Edison, it was a difficult struggle for you. Obviously, there was a lot of penalties, and you broke your jaw. What was the difference in your performance tonight that seemingly made this so easy?
Was war der Unterschied im letzten Kampf? Letztes Mal hattest du deinen Kiefer gebrochen und da waren Low Blows. Also was ist der Unterschied heute?
Ja, heute habe ich mehr aufgepasst. Dieser Kieferbruch das war aus Versehen. Das war nicht absichtlich. Aber heute habe ich mehr aufgepasst, habe mehr ihn schlagen lassen, dass er müde wird. Dann habe ich auf meine Chance gewartet und dann eiskalt ausgenutzt.
I was very cautious this time. Last time I didn't pay attention as much to that, but I made sure that wouldn't happen again. I tired him out, and then I knocked him down.
Let's take a look at the television monitor and describe, if you can, please, the knockdowns.
Bitte beschreib dein K.O., wenn du kannst, wenn du jetzt die Kamera anguckst.
Ja, ich habe auf meine Rechte konzentriert und Rechte hat genau gesessen auf sein Kinn.
That was number 1.
He concentrated his right and pointed it directly at his chin.
Here comes number 2.
Nummer 2.
Ja, jetzt muss... Boom.
Left, we saw that.
Ja, ich wollte eigentlich eine rechte Cross schlagen, dann hat nicht gesessen und da kam die linke, weil er so offen war.
He wanted to take care of it with the left, but then he had to do the right, and he took care of it with the right then.
And then the finish, here to the fight.
Und jetzt das Ende zum Kampf.
Boom. Ja, dann wollte ich mit rechts wieder gleiche das machen, weil er von rechts, dreht seinen Kopf und dann mit linker Kopfwagen passt genau rein.
I wanted to do the same with the right, but then he turned his head, so I had to take the left.
And boom, kind of is the international language.
And I want to speak, thank you America for your hospitality. Thank you Showtime for your big chance. And I wish one fight mit Oscar de la Hoya and Kelly Pavlik. And I feel me in America very good. American people is very nice people. I like America and I come again.
Well, we hope so. Congratulations and thank you for coming over here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's turn over side here to Edison Miranda. Edison and Felix de Jesus will interpret for us. Edison, what happened here tonight? It was a total dominance tonight in the ring.
¿Qué pasó, Edison? Hoy estuvo bien dominante el contrincante.
Pues la verdad que no tengo ninguna queja, hice la mejor preparación de mi vida. Me preparé muy bien durante 2 meses, pero no sé, lo sentía demasiado fuerte. No, desde el primer round lo sentí muy fuerte y no podía dominarlo.
I have no quarrels today with the fight. He was prepared to the maximum. He prepared for 2 months. He did feel him a little stronger in this fight.
Abraham totally dominated this entire fight. Much, much different than the first fight when he was able to break his jaw and then all the penalties got in his way. Why was tonight's fight so different?
¿Por qué la pelea de hoy fue tan diferente después que en la primera pelea tú le rompiste la quijada y hoy él fue tan dominante?
Pues no lo sé porque esta vez estaba mejor preparado que la otra vez. Ahora estaba 100%, la otra vez estaba un 50%. Pues no sé, pero pasó, no sé qué pasó, pero la verdad que lo sentía muy fuerte para mí, muy fuerte.
I really don't know what happened because tonight I was 100% prepared. The first fight I was only 50% prepared, and I just felt him too strong today.
Is he okay?
¿Está bien?
Sí, está bien, es un gran campeón y la verdad que eso fue el problema. No me sentía capacitado para enfrentarlo porque me sentía muy débil delante de él.
He felt very weak today. He's a great champion, and that was what happened tonight.
Edison, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Back to you, Steve.
All right, Jim, thanks very much. So Edison Miranda down 3 times in the 4th at the hands of this man, King Arthur Abraham. But interestingly, Al, Miranda was ahead on all 3 scorecards by the count of, I think, 3-1 and 1 points at the time of the stoppage.
Well, he had several very good rounds, actually, for himself, but was hurt with that. Actually, his first punch was the right hand, then the left hook got to him, and Arthur Abraham more aggressive when he got him in trouble than he had been in that first fight early in the fight.
The pot of gold, of course, is the pride of Youngstown, the new pride of Youngstown, Kelly Pavlik. Where do you see this road leading for Arthur Abraham?
Well, I know the Pavlik people want to fight Arthur Abraham. They want it to be a big event. It's an international fight. Arthur Abraham wants to fight Kelly Pavlik. I think that's an intriguing matchup and one that could very likely happen very soon.
Do you think Arthur Abraham won over the American fans? Didn't start so well when he walked into the ring, but did he win over the fans here?
Well, he did it in 2 ways, I think. Number one, of course, his thundering knockout of Edison Miranda, which was reminiscent of Kelly Pavlik's knockout of Edison Miranda after a very competitive fight, certainly impressed people. And then secondly, good PR, man. Arthur Abraham, for himself, by making those comments about America being gracious to him and how much he loves America and wants to come back here. And that was the mantra leading up to this fight from his people. They want to establish him. They want to come to this country. And he and Pavlik, I'll tell you what, that's an intriguing fight.
Hey, how about the new mandatory, a fellow named Raul Marquez?
You know, we would be remiss if we didn't mention him at the end of the show. For this 36-year-old who has been such a good force for boxing, this is a very, very, really tender moment in a way because he fought his way back at age 36 now